So the springs in my old EPM1s are going out. I've had these since 2019, so it's about time, and I figured I could either replace the springs, buy new mags, or try something else out. Now, a friend of mine recommended these 230 round Daniel Defense mags from e-bike. They cost, I want to say, $110 for a pack of 6, or about $15 or $20 individually, which is cheaper than the EPM1. So I figured I'd try them out and see what's up. Only problem is I realized they all have this problem where the BB retention latch sticks to the rear. So when you remove the speed loader, it'll end up shooting your BBs out. So I'm going to see if I can fix that. And if not, I'm going to stick to the EPM ones. So obviously you can see here I have one open. What I'm thinking that might help is removing a little bit of material from the bottom side of the BB retention latch to make it like a ramp, and hopefully that'll keep it from sticking. This is the problem from the back side. You can see that it gets caught on the lip there. So the idea is just to shape the bottom side of this BB retention latch into a ramp shape so that that can't happen. Just an FYI, if you buy these and choose to do this, these little winglets on the BB retention latch and feed ramp thing, they can break off. They've broken off of 2 of mine. They don't seem to be an issue if you break off, just something to keep in mind. Totally forgot to mention this earlier, but if you're looking at new mags or just mags in general and you're considering these Daniel Defense mags versus the EPM ones, one thing to consider is that the Daniel Defense mag is bigger than the EPM one by a pretty significant margin when it comes to your loadout. So that's something to keep in mind. I prefer the size of the EPM ones, but I'm going to give these a chance and see how I feel about them after a couple of games. Alright, I've done it to all of them, and I cannot get the follower or the retention latch to stick to the rear anymore. So I would say it works. If you decide to buy some of these, all you have to do if you're having that problem is obviously open it up, pull the springs out, take the screws out, remove the yellow bit, pull out the BB retention latch, and then use something like this knife that I use. This is pretty sharp, so you need a pretty sharp instrument or some kind of sandpaper or file to remove a little bit of material from the bottom side of the front lip of the retention latch to make it a ramp pointing upwards, right? So it kind of has like an arrow shape now. You don't have to remove a lot. Like 1 millimeter or 2 at most will be more than enough to get it to work. You definitely don't want to overdo it and end up damaging it. You can, I don't think it's visible. But I did not remove much of the material that's on there. These little yellow flakes, if you can see them, that's how little I removed. It's not a lot. So just enough to give it that upward ramp appearance. Sorry, I got distracted by something. And you should be 100% good to go. Now, would I recommend these over the EPM ones? Honestly, yes, if you're on a budget. Now, I have heard people say that they have issues with the EPM ones. Me personally, I've never had any problems with them, and I run these in my KWAT-10, which is a 16:1 with a brushless motor. I run these in my Kythera, which is obviously a mechanical HPA unit, and I run this in my F2, which is an electromechanical HPA unit, and all of them feed well in every single one of my guns. So if you have the money and you're just super bougie and you want the EPM ones, get the EPM ones. If you are on a budget but you still want to have pretty high capacity mags that are mid caps, then get the 6-pack of this, which costs easily half the price of a set of 6 EPM ones, and each one of these only holds 20 less rounds than an EPM1. So it's a pretty good deal if I had to say so myself. The only thing, like I said, is that retention latch may sometimes stick to the rear and shoot your BBs out whenever you remove the speed loader, but it's an easy fix. I didn't show it because I don't have my GoPro, so I'm shooting with my phone, and obviously it's kind of hard to do things with 2 hands when you have to hold a phone with 1 hand, but I'll put a picture somewhere in here showing exactly what it is that I did to hopefully give you a better visual of what it should look like when it's done. And Hopefully, if this is something that you end up having to do, it ends up working out for you the way it did for me. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to everyone. But yeah, I'm looking forward to using these.